Oh no. You got a toothache?
No, popcorn. Should not be eating popcorn right before a podcast. Lesson learned.
Things you learn on the job.
The things you learn. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nicknames Movies, the podcast that I eventually ended up naming Nicknames Movies without your input whatsoever.
That's fine.
Yeah. Last week's episode was a disaster. I found out that you can only talk to yourself for so long, so it's quite shorter.
I'm just here alone with my thoughts.
Come listen. So that's how that went.
What I find funny is that your solo episode was half the time of the partner episode.
So it kind of equals
it
out.
Balances out.
I can only do it for so long. You can only want to listen to one guy.
How long
for so
can
long.
you vamp for? 30 minutes, apparently.
Got to think of things to say and then end up repeating them over and over again. This is a podcast where we talk. It's Nick naming movies. I'm Nick, and I have my special guest Zach Smith back.
But you can also call me Nick, so the name still works thematically.
I know, but it's kind of
weird.
Just
do I'm Nick with a Z.
Nick. It's a silent Z.
Silent Z.
All right, we could do that. But then it's like Nick's names movies.
That's
two Nicks.
I'm just the ethereal voice.
You're my conscience.
Yeah, there you go.
Why does my conscience have a different voice than me?
And why is it named Zach?
Because I'm crazy.
Oh boy, this just took a dark turn.
It's another solo episode. You just happen to hear another voice.
Ooh.
How are you been, Zach?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Just
Did you watch the Game of Thrones premiere?
I did.
What'd you think?
It was good. Yeah. I think they rushed some things.
This is gonna be a fast forward season. A lot like
well,
that.
Okay.
Episode.
I am not. There are some people who are a little bit more down on that episode. I feel like because.
Why do you think?
Well, I just heard it's kind of weird. I heard from a couple people that were like, "This is taking too long." Like they didn't like the conversation so much. They're like,
There's only 6 episodes.
We waited 2 years, and they're just standing around talking. Ugh.
Like they never watched Game of Thrones
right.
before.
And it's like, okay, did you just jump in last season,
Yeah.
or because half of the episode felt really like an old school Game of Thrones episode.
Yeah.
Or it's pretty evenly paced throughout. But there were. Are we just diving into spoiler territory? Right
yeah.
Okay.
I figured at this point, especially a week after the episode, anybody who was willing to watch it has watched it.
That makes sense. New one airs tonight, so.
I know. I'm excited.
Me too. I did feel.
Wait, not tonight. Today's Saturday.
Tomorrow.
Thank you. Today's we're recording Saturday, but I'm posting it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh.
What was that for?
Behind the curtain.
Well, I said it last week? It doesn't matter. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, yeah, so half the episode was, like, evenly paced. I liked it. I liked the return to form. The Targaryen reveal for Jon, I felt was, like, really soon. I did not think we were going to start episode 1
with Sam.
With someone going up to him and saying, like, oh, hey, by the way, your real name is not Jon. And hey, Ned Stark is not your father.
Especially with Bran being the audience surrogate, just saying, hey, we don't have time for this.
We really don't have time for this.
Did you watch the intro with the blue tiles? It's the White Walkers. They're killing people.
Stuff's going down, man.
Yeah. This is the last season. We have to...
There's a white dragon. He's coming...
Yeah. Hey, one of your dragons? Yeah, he's a zombie dragon now, which I feel like kind of went over their heads.
Yeah, like, they didn't really like. You could kind of see Daenerys react a little bit.
She's like, oh no.
But they, they had so many personal, like, stories. Oh my god!
I'm sorry. I was gonna warn you, but then I thought it'd be funnier if I didn't.
They had so many interactions to tell, between reunions, like with Tyrion and Sansa, and then new meetings with like Daenerys and Samwell.
Yeah. It was a reunion episode.
Right. It's like an ensemble really, is what it has become, is just everyone in the same place at once. So let's get all that stuff out of the way. It looks like episode 2 is going to be a lot more of that as well.
Which is upsetting. I figured with the preview, you kind of think that this would be the battle of like them actually showing up at Winterfell and everything.
From what I understand, they came out beforehand and said episode 3 is going to be
because that's the
battle.
80-minute episode along with episode 4 and 5, I think.
Yeah.
Or 6, I can't remember.
Well, they're all hovering around that mark.
Yeah,
80 minutes to 90 minutes throughout the rest of the season. Past
which I'm excited
2.
for.
Yeah,
the more time to lead to characters talking. Quote unquote.
But they had so much to kind of start to close up because they value some story elements more than others, which you can see, like fucking Yara getting rescued like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And super easily. Like Theon just wanders onto a fucking boat and is like, hey, I'm here to rescue. Let's go.
Come on. We're the sneakiest ninjas in all of Game of Thrones.
And then the next scene is him,
he got headbutted, which he deserves.
Well, yeah, that he deserved that. Yeah, that's true. But after the rescue, then it's like, okay, well, now obviously you want to go and help everyone in Winterfell, so we just kind of steamrolled that whole. Like, why did Yara have to get captured last season? Aside from like, it's a blow to Daenerys. Like, it's just kind of
it was a weird storyline. Yeah, I feel like they didn't think about that, or they're like, wait, this doesn't make sense if we want to get Theon to Winterfell.
And then again, they just had so many other things that they need to wrap up, and I think this is a start of kind of a tier list of like what they value most. Mm-hmm. That being said, again, they wrapped the Jon reveal up in
the first episode.
I guess they haven't wrapped it up, but they have started it in episode 1.
Once he confronts Daenerys, which I feel like it's going to be like the Battle of Winterfell is about to start,
right?
And he's going to be like, "Hey, so listen, you're my aunt, or like we're related, because and I should be the real king, even though I don't care. You could be the queen."
Do you really think that's going to start that way, or is it going to start with?
Well, and then the battle will interrupt the conversation.
Right.
It'll be like,
I just wonder if Jon, being who he is even going to broach that subject and just start from, "Hey, you burned Sam's family alive."
That would be a better way to start that conversation. Like, hey, that was pretty messed up of you to do.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if it did go that way, where they start this conversation, they get like halfway through it, and they're like, "Oh, hey, there's some White Walkers coming our way.
Yeah,
well, we can't do this right now."
All the Karstarks and the Glovers.
Yeah.
And that poor kid.
And I just wonder, it's kind of weird. I don't know how to take the way they're structuring this season. And I guess weird. I really won't know until it's over.
Yeah.
It's just odd.
So far, we have a lot of reunions and kind of build up, even though everything should be pretty much wrapped. It should be wrapped up.
Well, that's
and we should
what they're
be getting all the
sprinting
battles.
towards. They're like, we gotta get this shit in the.
I'm just
in the bag.
And here's the thing: we're not fast traveling. We still have characters that were kind of separate,
right?
And we know that Theon, whether he shows up right before the Battle of Winterfell, with the White Walkers, or I don't know. I just don't want it to be like that episode where Gendry ran from like 10 miles out and made it, and Daenerys is like, "Okay, I'll show up in 30 seconds," and then saved him.
Did you watch the last season before this one started?
Oh yeah, I watched the entire series.
Oh, did you really?
Oh yeah,
I didn't
it took a while.
I did the last 2 seasons before this.
I just did it because I'm crazy. I'm doing the same thing with the Marvel movies.
Yeah, I want to do that. I'm not gonna do it though.
No, it's not. It actually makes it worse.
Well, I think I'll probably save that marathon for a couple years, maybe a year or two.
When
after.
You're in a hospital bed and you have no choice.
Like a year or two after Endgame,
Yeah.
So I can just do I'm doing the Infinity Arc.
Well, it's like I said, the last episode we were together. Not like that, but
we were.
Oh boy.
Start writing your fanfics.
But it's like I haven't watched Avengers Infinity War since it came out, basically. Right. Because I knew that it was a part 1, Endgame is part 2. But here's like everyone is showing clips of it, and it's like unavoidable at this point.
Yeah,
But I will watch it right before.
Have you been spoiled on things?
On Endgame?
Endgame, because those are out in the wild now.
No, I've from what I've heard, and I have like all my Twitter stuff like blocked for certain.
Yeah, you've got like a white.
I have not been spoiled yet. I'm pretty careful when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if I was, I would have been mad.
Yeah. Well, that's like I'll read something about Marvel, just like Marvel comics. You know, it doesn't even have to be about the MCU. I'll read it on like IGN or something. I do not.
IGN is the worst.
Well, I don't go down to the comments.
Yeah.
On those, and I will not. I will continue to not do so.
Well, it's just IGN in general too. They're really bad about spoiling stuff.
I mean, granted, I don't click on anything to do with Endgame.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to risk it. I haven't even watched any of the TV spots or trailers.
Because it's more footage that you're like, I would have been excited to see that.
Well, and it's like,
real time.
I already knew I was going to see this movie a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't need to watch 5
more of it,
trailers.
Yeah. Even if it's like a flash of a new image. Like,
yeah. What's the point? I watched the first Rise of the Skywalker trailer. That will be the only trailer I watch.
Yeah, same.
So.
But speaking of, Game of Thrones. Everyone's who's excited about it. They're gonna watch it.
Yes.
Super excited about it. Do you have theories about like who's gonna die? Who's gonna make it? Not who's taking the Iron Throne, because nobody cares about that.
Right.
Half the cast doesn't care.
Who's gonna live?
Who's gonna live?
I don't know, because so much of the cast is like, the honorable sort that they're probably gonna die.
Like Tyrion.
Well,
I think he'll be the saddest death for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to like what happens with Bronn, right? Like,
Bronn, and I was so pissed. Like, I actually posted a video of my reaction to that episode, and I was like, Bronn being given the crossbow, that he used to kill Tyrion. Like,
he's not gonna do it.
He's not gonna do it. He's gonna be like, "Hey, what's up?"
It's gonna present it to like, oh, maybe he will. Oh, I don't know. He's got the crosshair.
Like he'll aim it at Tyrion,
like,
and then he'll shoot a White Walker
behind him.
Oh, yeah. It'll be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm a sellsword," but like,
I have a heart of gold, and then he gets stabbed from behind.
I know. Bronn is
he's
easily
super dead.
going to die.
Davos, I think, is dead.
I know.
Tormund's dead.
No. All my favorite side characters.
John's friend at Castle Black, who I can't remember
Ed?
his name. Ed, yeah. He's gonna die.
I know.
He's probably gonna get an off-screen death too.
He's gonna be like the Lupin and Tonks death.
Yeah, like John will be running through the battlefield and he'll stumble over something and he'll look down.
Like the two other guys, that died at the other battle of the wall. Oh man, I'm pretty sure that fight with the giant would have been really cool to watch, but they died off screen. This will be my shock moment, but I honestly think Jon will live. I think Jon will live and Dany will die. Although this is Game of Thrones, I think because the whole series is called The Song of Ice and Fire, and he is literally the child of ice and fire, this will be like his story. Or
could that be the obvious baby that has been made between Jon and Daenerys?
They
keep like all of the last season.
I can't have kids. The witch told me.
And he's like, "Who told you that?" Oh, the witch.
Yeah, the witch who fucking lied to you. And
so like it could be, as you posit, Jon specifically, or it could be
if it's the reverse and Dany lives and Jon dies. Like, I don't want Dany to live at this point. The way that this whole the first episode of season 8 was framed, they're making Dany out to be the new bad guy, bad girl. Bad girl sounds sexy. Bad guy. Just because of the way that she has, from episode 1 all the way up until now, has kind of her depiction of the way that she wants to rule, which is not necessarily like rule like Cersei or rule like Baratheon.
Robert,
thank you.
She didn't want to get drunk and just hang out all day?
No, she doesn't want to do that. She wants to, like, overthrow the system, which the rest of the world probably will never be ready for.
Right.
And I just feel like her burning the Tarleys was kind of like, okay, is she going to be a good ruler?
Well, that's the impetus for the common, quote-unquote, common folk, like Sam, to be like, well, what's the point of having this outsider be queen if she's going to be just as violent and vindictive as the kings father we've had before?
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily agree that she's the villain.
I don't think she's the villain. I think Cersei and the White Walkers are ultimately the villains on two fronts.
I thought you said, like, the way the show is presenting it as is that she's the new bad guy.
That she is a bad guy.
Gotcha.
Like, she's an antagonist to Jon and not Viserys, Varys and Tyrion and everyone else who basically is like, we just want to live at Winterfell. And just live and survive, and that's it.
All right, everybody, just come into Winterfell. That's the new King's Landing.
It's kind of nicer.
Half of King's Landing is on fire anyway. The set is still burning.
I'm kind of well. Here's the thing: like, after everything that happens at Winterfell, no matter who survives or whatnot, like, how are they going to take the fight to King's Landing if they will?
That's kind of what I was floating around when I was talking about the pacing.
Yeah.
If episode 3, and maybe there's more than one big battle with the White Walkers and the Night King. Well, I'm like with them specifically because if that's halfway through the series and Cersei's not coming, are we splitting this as the first battle is with the White Walkers and then we're gonna go from there to now let's take King's Landing is the final question of Game of Thrones who sits on the Iron Throne, which seems like a weird.
That would be a waste.
Final.
I don't think they would just bring the White Walker. They would take 7 seasons for the White Walkers to get all the way to Winterfell, only for them to be stopped, and then have it be a fight between humans and all of that. I think that's tough.
Yeah,
because obviously, if they get past Winterfell, then how did they get past Winterfell? Did they kill everyone there? Because that's 90% of the cast.
And it's like, who's left if they get through there? Cersei?
Hot Pie.
He's Hot Pie is the new king of the North.
Hot Pie! I'm going to bake really shitty looking direwolf cakes. Yeah. Oh, you got better. But it's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. It's only 5 episodes more.
Yeah. So. And again, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to accurately judge, obviously, how the pacing is and the decisions they make.
Yeah. Someone's going to make a decision that will piss off the entire fan
it's going to be 50-50.
Yeah. It's going to be Theon that, like, fucking valiantly saves.
I think Theon's dead.
Oh, no, he will die.
He's going to die. He's going to die saving Jon
just
or Sansa.
after becoming a badass.
Right. Well, this is his redemption arc, right?
Yeah.
And after his redemption,
so short.
There's really no feasible way for Theon to stay around.
Yeah.
Like there's no
point.
His whole point of existence right now is to come back from how far he's fallen.
Yeah.
And once he's done that, then there's nothing for him to do. He's not going to go back to the Iron Islands because Yara's going to rule after she kills Euron.
And that was a smart move. She's like, "Hey, you want to go to Winterfell, right? You want to protect the people you care about? Cool. I'm going back to the Iron Islands." Euron was, kind of right when he's like, they can't swim, right? So we'll go to the islands where they can't get to us. Mm-hmm. Although they have a dragon, but they don't know that.
Right. Well, and that is a good fallback plan. You know, if Winterfell falls, and they need somewhere to fall back to, that would be a cool looking battle too. It would be, and nothing has actually happened at the Iron Islands save for Euron.
You're not my kid, and then I can't. Balon.
Yeah.
Getting pushed off
the bridge. Yeah. And then Euron possibly drowning. That is a weird way of anointing your new king.
Yeah.
What happens if he drowns?
Then they find another one.
Well, I guess he wasn't worthy.
Let's take a quick 5. He's dead.
Who wants to go next? Anyone? You in the back, right there. I'm pretty sure I saw your hand up.
Okay, but to be fair, the entire society of the Iron Islands is, hey, let's just rape and kill everyone around us. Like, how are we a society. Like that's the loosest definition.
And
anyway,
it's so weird how they've lasted that long just doing that. You'd think someone would have like
for 1,000
been
years.
Like, okay, you know what? We're kind of tired of these guys. Let's just go
raise
kill
them.
them.
Let's just raise them. Yeah. Targaryens never got that far.
No, they didn't.
But it's exciting. This is specifically an exciting week because I'll be posting this tomorrow on Sunday when the episode premieres.
Right.
So that's Sunday. And then we have Thursday night. If you're seeing a Thursday night, right?
I
Avengers?
am actually seeing it Friday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't say anything.
Yeah,
Remind me not to say
please
anything.
don't.
I won't, and I won't post anything, but just stay off the internet.
Yeah.
after...
Oh, no, I will not be doing anything on the internet from the time it premieres on Thursday
Yeah.
to the time I see it on Friday at 6:30.
The first showtime that I saw in our area is like 6 p.m.
Yeah. I around where I was.
But
it was like
it's a
7.
3-hour movie, so they'll be getting out like 9:30.
Right, exactly.
So, and my showtime is like 9:50. I couldn't get the 6 o'clock because it sold out like that.
Yeah, I'm a weird movie watcher in that I do not care for the social aspect
Oh yeah,
of
me
movie
neither.
theaters. And due to that, like there were a couple of earlier showtimes that my wife and I would have been able to go to see it, but we would have been like sandwiched in between people, or there was like one seat on this row and then another seat 3 rows back.
Yeah.
Which obviously isn't
you
work.
got to sit next to each other.
So eventually I was able to find one of the Holy Grail seats, which is just 1, 2, and that's it. You're alone.
Are you in the middle-ish?
Nope.
Nope.
It's just like one of those ones that are off to the side.
Yeah.
And I used to be a pretty big stickler about sitting right in the middle.
Still am.
And
at myself.
I will not in any way pretend that is not the optimal way to watch the movie.
Yeah, but it's impossible with a movie like this.
Yeah. I would much rather just be off to the side.
Yeah.
And still get to see everything, just not, straight ahead.
I actually found a compromise with my showtime. So the first couple of shows, which there were like 1,000 different showtimes for this movie, especially for
it's the same for the theater I'm going to. It was like four or 5 auditoriums and like 15 times just for it.
Like
they're ridiculous.
They're starting the movie like the latest showtime. They start at midnight and they'd be closing at like 4 in the morning.
God,
I feel so sorry.
I
for
would
these theater
hate to be
employees.
working that shift, man.
I have worked that shift in the past. That was my first job, and it's not fun. But
and then you get all the assholes who don't clean up after them.
I know, yeah, and then they have to open up like 6 hours later.
Yeah,
hopefully not.
Gotta love Clopins.
Yeah. So I was actually pretty smart when it came to buying my ticket. I was
just a
thinking,
little humble brag there.
What?
Yeah, I was pretty smart
Hold on,
I
gotta pop my collar real quick, like a cool '80s
you
guy.
You want a ball cap so you can put it on backwards too,
Yeah,
or better yet, sideways.
sideways. Yeah, hold on, I got my.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah. But nobody can see this. This
That's
is an
fine.
audio podcast. I have a hat sideways on.
Use your imagination.
Yeah.
You know what a douchebag looks like. That's what Nick looks
That's-
like right now.
You son of a bitch. No. I was pretty smart. I bought kind of the showtime that will start right as the first showtime is kind of ending, but like I won't get spoiled by the people coming out of there.
Yeah.
But I bought a ticket for a seat that is. So there's the handicap seats, and then there's the seats that are next to them for the caregivers.
Yes.
I'm the seat in the middle. There's like 2 handicap section seats,
And then caregiver, and then one.
and then
in the
3
middle.
empty seats. The ones on the sides are
Right.
the caregivers. I got a pretty good seat. It's
Yeah,
right in the middle.
definitely.
It's I'll kind of be looking like a little bit up, but it's not going to be like
It's like kind of closer to the front.
but
Yeah,
it's not the biggest screen that they have, which is okay. I'm gonna see it more than once.
Right. Yeah.
But I needed to see it Thursday night just so that I can say that I saw it and
Yeah.
turn my notifications back on.
Well, I'll be staying off of Facebook. I'll be staying off of Twitter.
What time Friday are you seeing it?
6:30.
6:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got
Got a whole work day to get through.
It's a long, yeah, because you're gonna be no one. I have coworkers who just won't shut up about spoilers. They did the thing with Game of Thrones. They just spoiled the hell out of it. If I hadn't seen it the night before,
Thankfully,
I would have lost my job.
I work with a bunch of older people who will not see it until the weekend.
Nice.
If they see it.
Nice. People with schedules and jobs and lives.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So speaking of Avengers, we have our plans set. So it's a big week. Game of Thrones Sunday, Avengers Thursday, several big video games coming up this week as well. Mortal Kombat and Days Gone.
Yeah, I'm very excited about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. The hype is real.
Oh, yeah.
People are excited.
Did you see the newest story trailer for that?
No, I mean, I'm sold on it, but I don't have the means to play it right now.
I just mean, like, the trailer itself is really well made.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. Actually, let me look it up while I'll look it up after.
Sound is very important.
Okay. Yeah, but it's going to be super loud.
Yeah.
I'll look it up after. Who do you think, let's go back to Avengers. What do you think the story will be? Give me your screenplay.
Time travel.
Okay, well, yeah. That's it? Just time travel.
Time travel.
They're going to go back to the 1600s
Yep.
and kill Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's about as much as I've kept up with it.
Just time travel.
Confused about
how many do you think, like, any character is going to stay dead, or are they going to bring everybody back?
Stay dead from the snap.
From the entirety of Infinity War.
Right.
The people that died or dusted.
Gamora's coming back because Guardians 3 is happening.
I mean, there's been different iterations of Guardians.
True,
you know what
but
I mean?
I think she's coming back. Especially considering Gunn had this script planned before Infinity War.
Yeah.
I think that she's probably going to come back. I don't know. It's hard to tell if anyone's going to stay dead from Infinity War. Because, that was kind of the crux of it going in. Like, those who knew that it was a two-parter, I was like, okay, well, you can't kill all these people.
Yeah, even though it's going to be split into two films.
Yeah. Spider-Man's got another movie coming out, which technically is...
It's like 3 months after.
Yeah, but it's pre-Infinity War, so...
Is it set before?
Fairly certain. I thought that was what they were saying. Is that
I have not heard anything about it.
Is that technically it's not a spoiler to say it because he's alive. He's looking it up, doing some googling. Set before or after?
Auto completed. Where's it taking me? Oh, great screen rant. Is set after the dramatic events of Avengers Endgame.
It is after. Okay.
Aha! Internet for
right.
even putting in the first sentence. That was actually very convenient.
All right, well, so Spider-Man's coming back.
Yeah. Well, that's obvious, and because of how well it did,
Black
too.
Panther 2 is supposedly in development, so T'Challa's going to come back.
Yeah.
It
did $1 billion. Why wouldn't it?
I think what is more... Because it's so nebulous to say, like, if...
It's a character.
Yeah, that is...
She's going to die.
She's going to die. Like, if a person stays dead after dying in Infinity War, is that person really that important then?
Well...
Because then they're saying, there's... I don't know. It's like there's no interest in this character for you to be concerned.
If they brought everybody back, then it would be like, what was the point of Infinity War?
But I think that was kind of the crux of Infinity War, is that a lot of people felt that way who knew that this was going to be a two-parter.
Do you mean the writers or the characters?
No, I mean the people seeing it.
Oh, yeah. I feel like maybe a lot of general moviegoers didn't know it was going to be a two-parter.
Oh, really?
I would think the person who doesn't go see every Marvel movie or doesn't go see a lot of movies in general.
But at this point, how much of the MCU viewing audience has seen the majority of them, though?
I wouldn't see a large majority. I'd say, like, less than half.
It just seems odd to me to say, like, someone who went and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp is, like, not up to know... what's going on with Infinity
That's a
War.
good example, because Ant-Man and the Wasp, for the most part, is something that you don't need to watch before you watch Infinity War or Endgame.
So are you positing that someone may have done the the main ones, and then
I would think that a lot of people go see movies because they hear about it a lot at the water cooler, and they follow the hype because people are saying, "Oh, you need to go see this movie; it's really good." Is it a Marvel movie? Yeah,
I
but
think
trust
the
me,
inherent value of an Avengers movie
when
is
Robert Downey Jr. is in it. Oh my god, I love him.
I think the inherent value of an Avengers movie is that
It was really good.
you've seen
Thank you. High fiving myself.
you've seen the movies, leading up to that.
Yeah.
It's like a payoff. So
It's hard because from both of our points of view, every single one of them was essential, and we're big fans of the comics and comic book characters and kind of geek culture as well. But I know specifically, like, just thinking the long list of people that I know in real life outside of my apartment,
not including your cat.
not including my dad. A lot of them don't watch Marvel movies regularly, or they watch them like way after the fact because they're like, I'll watch it because people talked about it.
You're talking about my mom, is what you're talking about.
Okay, so yes, an older generation, but it's not everybody our age or younger that doesn't. I would.
No,
think.
I don't.
The overlap is big. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that there are some people that don't. They don't see every single.
Yeah, I believe that. My own wife has not seen all the Marvel movies.
Aha.
But that's not my argument. My argument is that if you're seeing Infinity War, which is like the end of all of these, what is...
Well, let's say the average moviegoer who doesn't see every one.
How do you not know going into it it's going to be a two-parter?
Like from outside of advertising and all that?
Yeah. I mean, the internet is such a large part of life now, and, comic book culture in general is just...
It's huge.
It's huge now.
Yeah.
To the point where you have people doing talk shows about TV shows that just aired, right after, and people watch that.
Or interviews or what have you. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that there is a small percentage of people that went in because they're like, Avengers, I remember seeing it back in 2012 when I was in high school.
I saw the original Avengers, but skipped Age of Ultron. That was a good choice.
Well, I'm just saying.
That was a good choice. You should have skipped Age of Ultron.
Which is funny because Age of Ultron is important for Civil War, which is important to Infinity War, which is important.
I'm not saying it is not important. I'm saying it's not a good movie.
No, yeah, agreed. Poor Joss Whedon. But, people who are like, oh, I remember seeing Iron Man back when I was in high school or elementary school or whatever. Yeah. And then they go into Avengers Infinity War because they're like, oh, I love all these characters. There's so many superheroes. And they follow the hype and they watch the trailers for it. We're talking about Infinity War. But then at the end, and they're like, wait, why is everybody dying? I've been in this movie theater for 2 hours and 30 minutes. What else is going to happen? And then no offense, no pun intended. But and then it ends. And you're like, the bad guy won, and that's it? What's going to happen? And then, they'll come back in Avengers 4.
But I think even
99% of the people seeing that movie,
even with such a cursory knowledge, going, maybe not immediately when they're watching Infinity War, but even after that, being like, well, what the hell is that? Let me look that up. And then they see,
and then they get excited
Captain
for
Marvel
Endgame.
is coming out less than a year from now.
Yeah.
And then after that, another month, is Endgame. Now I understand.
Yeah.
So
I guarantee you that a lot of the 99.9% of the people who went and saw Infinity War have seen a good handful of the movies that came before.
Right.
But Endgame, I think, will... And you could tell because Black Panther... right before Infinity War, and Captain Marvel both have made over $1 billion worldwide. That's because the audience is growing even more,
But would you
This is a culmination.
Well, Black Panther was before... Well, I guess I see what you're arguing. You're arguing that because Infinity War took more than Black Panther and Captain Marvel... Well, Captain Marvel didn't take more than Infinity War.
Well, hold on. Let me look it up. Box Office Mojo. But...
But I understand what you're saying because their box office keeps going up.
Yes,
that it is
it's
indicative
sales,
of a higher audience.
Because I know for a fact box office or not Box Office Mojo, but okay, that's domestic is 678.
Domestic for Infinity War is 678 million.
Plus foreign was over $1 billion, so it's
Worldwide is 2 billion.
$2 billion. Yeah, it's up there in the most. So it did make more than Captain Marvel and Black Panther.
Yeah.
But
well, Captain Marvel was after that. So
yeah.
anything that disproves this trend.
Well, only because that
being said, there
the
was
audience
some
that wouldn't have been there
on
after Black Panther and the movies before and Infinity War, because they saw Infinity War, they're like, but what is this Marvel movie before Endgame? Does it have anything to do with Endgame? And they saw that. Same thing with Ant-Man and the Wasp. It didn't do as much as these other 3 films, but
right. I don't know. I can't.
Superheroes.
Yeah, it's a
money.
If you have a 23 movie arc of any kind, there's going to be fluctuations in viewing audience.
And then it's going to be very interesting to see how people react to the end of Endgame, no matter what happens, and how they set it up.
It's kind of interesting, it's from what I've seen, kind of split for some. There's some people saying like once Endgame is done, then I'm done with comic movies in general because I'm just kind of worn out at this point.
Yeah, which
is a fair assessment. But then the other part of me is like, really? You saw 23 comic book movies, and you're just gonna quit cold turkey, huh?
Are you telling me that you watched Thor: The Dark World and you're like, wait a minute, I'm
done. I'm gonna put at least 10 more movies into this, but after that, I'm done.
I need to find out what this purple chin motherfucker is up to.
All right, Tim. I'll see you at Spider-Man in a couple months.
Spider-Man: Far From Home. We'll see how well that does, especially because it takes place partly overseas as well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So that'll draw in.
So they have a foreign market.
Yeah, which, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. I love comic book movies. That pretty much sums it up,
Can people quote you on that? I am excited.
They do.
I love comic book movies.
Put it on my gravestone. What, he died?
What a weird thing to say when you die.
I know, he committed suicide, but he wanted it on his gravestone.
God.
Is that too dark?
That's pretty.
Okay, my bad. I'll cut that part. Yeah.
You have to get one suicide joke in per episode with us.
Oh, boy. This is not for kids. Yeah, it's a really big, important week, and I'm excited to watch both and work in the middle of all that. I gotta. My job told me on Friday, they're like, "Hey, have a great Easter weekend. Also, come in early on Monday and Tuesday."
And you were like, "Fuck you,
you son of a bitch." And they're like, "It's also National High Five Day, so high five your coworkers." I'm not doing that after you tell me to come in early.
Yeah, right. Can I high five you in the nuts? Because I'll do that.
And they get fired, and then I don't have to worry about anything anymore.
You just bide your time waiting for Endgame.
I know, and then after that, it's the only thing keeping me going.
No, you got Rise of the Skywalker.
Right.
Skywalker. Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah, more. Same difference, What'd you think of that trailer, by the way?
It has me pumped. I'm ready to see the next one.
What were you a fan of Last Jedi? Were you a fan of Force Awakens?
I have played it pretty down the middle for this new trilogy. There are things that I like, things that I am kind of meh on, and then things that I really didn't like. I really didn't like the hour-long detour and the Canto Bite that Last Jedi took.
Yeah.
I really didn't like how they shortchanged Finn's development. Honestly, I think he should have died at the end of Last Jedi.
At what part?
When he's speeding. Yeah, when he's speeding towards the walkers, and then Rose comes in out of nowhere and stops him.
Yeah, this was supposed to be kind of
This was his heroic moment. I'm not running away anymore.
Empire Strikes Back moment. Yeah.
Well, and they spent the whole movie, hammering down how kind of scared Finn is. He doesn't want to go into battle. He doesn't want to be part of this resistance so much. And he just keeps running away from everything. And then he finally has the courage to do something very heroic. Not that he hasn't done heroic things in the past, but this was kind of the cap on his whole character arc. And then it just kind of had the legs cut underneath it.
Because he has to make out with Rose.
who wasn't in the trailer.
I know. Very interesting.
Um,
Also, the thing that bothers me, and I didn't even remember that the character existed until I saw the fucking action figure at a ThinkGeek. DJ, who was played by...
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
Who was just a throwaway character.
And that was so weird in the marketing, too, because they kept saying Benicio del Toro is playing this guy, DJ.
Yeah, DJ, which is short for something?
He's in there for like 15 minutes, maybe.
The whole Canto Bight sequence.
And he does, not even the entirety of that. He's like right at the end of it.
Oh, yeah, to get him out.
And they started off with being like, oh, he's just like a kind of a rough around the edges type
roguish
hero,
guy
but then
with a
like
stutter.
they turn it on its head, like, oh no, he was actually a bad guy. He looked like a bad guy, but you thought we were gonna do the thing where he isn't actually a bad guy. No, he's really a bad guy.
Okay, and like he's gonna die by the heroes, right? Like he's going to. Oh no, he just leaves.
He just leaves.
He got paid,
and that whole character was in there. Like this whole journey of this character was like a 20-minute long thing.
Yeah.
And then Phasma got the shaft. And
just so you know, kids,
shaft.
if you steal things and you undermine your friends and you betray them, that you'll get paid.
Well, I'm sure
you'll get away with it.
I'm sure he's gonna come back. He's gonna make some sort of appearance
in episode 9.
Probably, like if nothing else, then to die kind of like a bitch, like Boba Fett did.
I feel like here's the thing. I feel like he won't come for episode 9, and he'll be like a comic book or movie tie-in or something.
Well, they already have a line. I think he's in Double or Nothing. Is a comic, a series going on right now.
I haven't heard of this.
Well, no, Double or Nothing is with young Han and young Lando, so he's not going to be in there.
Oh, it was like a solo tie-in?
Yeah. But he did have some sort of role in a Star Wars comic.
Okay.
I don't remember if he had his own short run series.
I would look it up, but I don't want to read through the wiki of this character. That pisses me off that he was included in that.
Well,
Last Jedi,
it's half-baked. There are really cool things and starting points that go out. Granted, it's the middle of the movies, or it's the middle of the trilogy.
Yeah.
So really, you should be working off paying off the things that were established in the first one, while
Force
having
Awakens, yeah.
a few new little things. Like that's what Empire did. Okay, we're trying to go kind of full circle with Luke's ascendance to being an actual Jedi.
Yeah, master.
And kind of the payoff of the Han and Leia relationship too.
Yeah.
There's these things that you're tying off that started in the first movie, but then you also have the "I am your father" sort of.
It's a dark point. It's the low point of the heroes.
Well, they have answers and revelations or answers and questions rather.
Right.
In the middle movie.
Return of the Jedi.
And then the questions that were posed in Empire are answered in Jedi, and that works. What Last Jedi does is it kind of steamrolls over the answers for the questions that were started in Force Awakens,
like Rey's parents,
like Rey's parentage, and
what happened to Luke.
And to Johnson's credit, he has said he's fine with whatever Abrams decides to do with whatever he's started.
Yeah, because he has Rian
He has his own trilogy.
Because
so
it's RIAA. Yeah, he has his own trilogy that he's going to do. He's like, I don't care. I'm getting paid to do my own thing.
Yeah.
So.
And I think Last Jedi, because it's steamrolling over all of the older questions to start questions of its own, it never really feels like a good payoff. Snoke is dead in one scene.
Yeah. So they have to bring back Palpatine.
And granted, that the chamber scene in which Kylo and Rey are fighting all the guards, that's an awesome looking scene. It's spectacular. There's so many scenes in Last Jedi that look amazing.
The whole the attack on the
Scarif.
I think it's Scarif. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen it.
With the red sand.
Yeah,
coming
that
up.
looks amazing.
Great stuff. The ramming into the Star Destroyer.
It's like
that light streaking across space.
And it
that
goes all
looks
silent
amazing.
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some really well, like, composed scenes
Yeah.
and interesting things going on, but I feel like the trilogy itself probably actually would have benefited from a single director throughout the whole thing. I don't remember. Did Abrams ever say why he wasn't coming back for the second one?
I think he had just other projects that he wanted to do.
I think when this one's all tied up, we're probably going to look back on the fact that it had a different director in the middle of it. Kind of weird.
So did the original trilogy.
Well, Lucas directed it, but Kasdan wrote it.
There was another director for one of the films.
What?
Yeah, hold on. Let's
check it out.
Let me look this up. You vamp for me.
We're on YouTube. Nick's typing. He goes tip.
You're really bad at vamping. You're really bad.
I never said I was good at it. You're the one who put me in this position.
I did. I expected many things from you.
Well, now look who has egg on their face. Not me. I'm fine.
Oh, not literal.
I know what I am.
Okay. Son of a bitch.
She's reading.
Yeah. George Lucas directed A New Hope. Irving Kershner directed Empire Strikes Back, and Richard Marquand directed Return of the Jedi. So there's a different director for each of the original trilogy.
Is that per movie, or is that like they had co-directing chairs? Oh yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Wikipedia does not lie. It's never lied to me before.
Fair enough. I knew Kasdan wrote Jedi and Empire.
Yeah. And he also wrote Force Awakens, and
yes,
I think
he did part of Last Jedi too.
Typing. Thank you.
It's just. Oh, he did Solo too. Great.
Wait.
No, he just did Force Awakens and Solo.
Yeah.
He did not do Last Jedi.
No, that was Rian Johnson.
He did,
which is why a lot of
and
people
directing?
complain about it. Yeah, he wrote and directed it. And then whoever's directing, well, I assume is it JJ? Who's
JJ is directing episode 9.
Well, he's directing, yeah, but is he writing it?
Oh, I don't know if he's writing it. I know he brought in Lucas to help.
I know he was on set.
No, he had him give his input on certain things.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you? You know.
Well, that's a good question. He wasn't on Last Jedi set.
That's a lot of people were upset. J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, who, by the way, has written some really bad films.
Oh no, that's not a good.
He has written Justice League and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Oh no.
And Argo, which, to be fair, won an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay.
That was partially.
But then he did Batman v Superman and Justice League. With, 5 other writers.
He must just be buddies with Affleck. If he did Argo, Justice League, and...
Oh, yeah, he has... Well, because he won an Academy Award for it, he's like, hey, come and do this thing. Who... David S. Goyer also co-wrote Batman v Superman and all that. So, that's a rabbit hole I didn't want to go down. So he is co-writing Rise of the Skywalker with J.J. Abrams, who his directing credits, great director. I loved.
Yeah, he makes some choices which stylistically rub some people the wrong way, but I think overall, he's really good. Yeah, well, he's brought that, he's reined that in a little bit. It's not. Did you ever see Super 8?
I did.
Oh man,
It's E.T.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that is very much an Abrams film.
Yes.
And trying to be a Spielberg film.
Yeah, but here's the thing: as long as you just go in, it's one of those movies a lot like Lost, his TV show.
Yeah, well,
where you go in and you
really
you have to turn your brain off. You have to turn your brain off and then kind of enjoy the ride. You know?
Yeah. Oh no, I still think Super 8's a fun movie. And in terms of hey, you remember all those Steven Spielberg movies that you saw growing up.
Here's a reference to this one. Here's a reference to that.
this
But
one.
they just take it as a love letter. It's still
Well,
directed
again,
well and written well.
I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm
Yeah.
just saying like that's what it is. So
Yeah.
as long as you go in there expecting it, yeah, it's a neat little ride.
I mean, he also wrote and directed Mission Impossible 3, which I watched the other night. Fantastic
It's
movie.
not Mission Impossible 2, so that's good.
Yeah.
That was a Roland Emmerich, I believe.
It's a raw memory, and I choose not to include it in my memory because it's retconned essentially. So, yeah. So Star Wars, that's December. We still have a little while for everything to be leaked about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Week
Which
after
will
week.
happen. Yeah, I mean,
It's actually post production right now.
I always go into a Star Wars movie with a sense of anticipation. Well, no, I take that back. I was not anticipating Solo in any way.
That was such a milquetoast movie.
It is just by the numbers.
It's not good.
Even
It's
the
not
color
bad.
grading is just boring as fuck.
It's like, hey, cool. Hey, have you ever wanted to watch Oatmeal the movie? It's that.
You know, there's a certain nobility in doing everything down the middle with no character whatsoever, and that does it pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Maybe would have gotten some interesting payoffs with Solo 2, but that's never gonna happen.
Solo 2, the Soloing.
Solo 2, together.
Once again, with Darth Maul and Daenerys
Amelia Clark is
Targaryen.
the villain. What?
Bring it back. Oh
Oh God!
I moved my mic. Hold on.
You got too excited about Solo.
I'm sorry. No, I got excited for anything else.
So I'll amend my original statement and say that generally, with a Star
Generally.
Wars, who is, an
Civil
asshole.
War. There have been other General Lees.
Yes,
I'm looking that up.
General Thomas Lee. That's probably
Let's just put any other name in front of Robert, or in front of Lee. Shit.
Thomas Robert Lee. He's typing. He's looking up Lees.
I'm looking up General Lee. So, yeah, Charles Lee from the Revolutionary War. William Henry Fitzhugh Lee.
Also from the Civil War.
Oh, okay. Well, wait, he was Confederate? Oh, dang it.
Son of Robert.
There's another Confederate, Stephen Dill Lee.
So what we're gathering is that most Lees
Probably family
are
members.
racist assholes.
George Washington Curtis Lee. What about Bruce Lee?
Most white Lees.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. And that's Lee and Ella. Yeah. Anyway, what about Chun Li?
Again, white Lee. Just because she has a color palette. Look, anime
I
is
thought she
weird.
was only like half Asian. Hold on.
Japanese
looking
animation
this
is
up.
weird. They always lighten the color of the skin.
Is she okay? We're looking this up.
No, she's Chinese.
Hold on.
Or Japanese. Oh, I thought
Nationality: Chinese,
Chinese.
Hong Kongese, which I didn't know was the name of.
I don't
that.
think
And
that's
American.
I don't think that's a thing.
She's also American.
No, she's dual citizen.
That. Okay, but let's look at her
Nationality
the
is-
backstory.
Nationality is Chinese. She works for like Interpol or something.
No, nationality is Chinese, Hong Kongese, and American.
Her,
Origin: China,
her dad,
Hong Kong.
her
yes.
dad is Chinese or something. He was part of the Chinese police.
To be fair, that was from The Legend of Chun-Li, which was, I think, was the really bad movie.
yes, it was a very bad. Oh, so she's only American and non
In the movie.
bullshit.
When she's played by
So-
a white person.
So I stand by my statement. White Lee's a racist. I'll die
I
on
can't
this
wait
hill.
to get the comments from people with the last name Lee. Go, wait a minute, I'm not racist.
Are you white? No.
Well, no, hold on a minute. But this has been Nicknames Movies, where we talked about a couple of movies that we were excited about.
A
And
little bit of Confederate general
we
topics.
can maybe I'll edit it out if I remember. I don't know. But this is my name is Nick. I named a couple movies. Who are you?
My name is Zach. I talked about movies back to Nick after he named them.
Yeah, that pretty much summed it up. And thank you so much.
Game of Thrones is not a TV. It's a TV show, not a movie.
It's cinematic enough to be a movie.
I
These episodes are long enough.
Okay,
to...
but if you had started this in season 2, would it be like Nick names movies and TV?
It doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
No.
Don't you patronize me. I know what you're doing.
Is it patronize in the form of like talking down, or patronize in the form of giving money?
Talking down.
Oh, okay.
You want to give me some? I could use
Oh
some
no,
money.
you told me not to.
This is
English is fun.
son of a bitch. Thank you so much for listening, everyone, and we hope you stay tuned in. Right now we're on YouTube, but I plan on having us set up for podcast services in the future.
We'll invade all your spaces.
Yeah.
Invade them.
I want you to be able to listen in any form possible. I even plan on investing in mind control. Not mind control, sorry. Hold on.
That's the thing we don't talk about.
Inputting it into your brain. And then, just getting excited about that. Just need to move some stuff around.
Yeah, some cybernetics need to be made. Some laws need to be passed.
Put a chip in my brain. But thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next week. Don't take that away from me.
All right, you can do it.
Now it's ruined. Now I don't want to do it.